Good morning. Welcome to usually what would be Saturday morning marketing Smarties. And it's kind of funny that's such a hard overall term for people to remember, but they always remember the show, just they can't remember the name. And that's okay, as long as they remember Smarties. Hi, my name is Roland. I'm the founder of Saturday morning marketing Smarties from what used to be iFly Online, what is now R&D Hotline, what is now extended as Init Mobile, a project with WeWake, Bendo Rao, and myself. And we may be very shortly joined, that is, I may be shortly joined in the green room by Molly Youngblood Geiger, who will be joining via mobile phone. And she has a little bit of announcement to make. But this is not a normal Smarties event. By the way, WeWake is in the audience, I think. He's probably the only one able to view right now. And we welcome him. And I'm getting pinged by somebody, so let me see what's up. Okay, Molly's on her way. And you might ask, what the heck is the reason for this, Roland? Why are you broadcasting with absolutely no plan? Well, I have a plan. And this is mostly as an information gathering session, a couple of announcements, and just a casual, as it is, maybe one-sided conversation to express myself and to allow Molly to add her expression to what's going on. Because as it is, the environment of Hangouts in general, which is what we base the platform of this presentation upon, has been seemingly a dwindling platform. And I think there are maybe 3 regular shows going on at this point, and maybe 3 irregular shows added onto that. And quite a few people like the platform, but nobody can seem to build it. So if we remain on Hangouts, it's going to be out of sentimentality for one thing. Hi, Molly.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. So we're going to be looking at your icon there today. That's fine. And as she is coming in via mobile phone, her reception might be a little bit sketchy. So she's going to suffer through that by presenting her icon so that her sound gets a little bit better support. Am I right? Hello, Molly.
Hey, can you hear
Okay.
me?
So, yeah, sounds fine. And we are recording live, and I've done a brief intro to things. And I didn't really do anything regarding, hi, I'm Roland, this is what I am. I just named the basic companies I associate my name and brand with. So to do the same, Molly Youngblood Geiger, you have your own community and you have your business Design Right for You. And basically, you've been on the show with me almost as long as it's been on, well, minus a week maybe. And that's a year, it's about 18 months. Can you imagine we've been doing
Yeah.
this for 18 months? So anyway,
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
I'll give a little bit of background why we have not been broadcasting on a regular basis the last couple of weeks. And one of the things is that it's the end of the year, and I have 3 kids who are doing things like making decisions about school, making decisions about where they're going to live, and all kinds of stuff. And one of my daughters and her boyfriend are going to be relocating to DC, to District of Columbia near Maryland, to go to attend a grad school out there. And so it's like, my wife, who is the stepmom technically, but my wife is going nuts because she's like losing a daughter. And so we're going through some gyrations there. That's not the only thing going on, but that's a biggie. And so life changes and everyone's adjusting. We had Memorial Day, so family gatherings right up to right up till Tuesday, we were still having family gatherings and stuff, and it pretty much took me out of the water. With and if you're not in the water, your rudder doesn't have much effect. So I pretty much canceled both my shows this week, and decided that with what's coming up in the very near future, the next couple of weeks are not very. I know they're not going to be very practical either. So I figure that we will be re-engaged about the Smarties will return on approximately June 25th, and I had tentatively whether or not we're able to achieve it on that date or not. I'm trying to get Adam Zale, who has been on the show before, and possibly potentially his business compatriot. Um, Now I'm forgetting his name all of a sudden. Ben. Ben, what's his name? Molly, you know who I'm talking about. Adam
Ben
Zale and
Fisher.
Ben. Yes, Ben Fisher. We're going to try to get them to come back on and give us an update what's going on in their lives and their business world. So before I continue and we ask the questions that we wanted to for this session, Molly, you had an announcement to make regarding what's coming up in your life in the very near future, and this looks really good. So why don't you tell people, and then if I can locate the URL to the event, I will share that also.
Yeah. So
Okay, so I've got the URL.
yeah. So asked by the Google Small Business community to participate on a mobile initiative. Google's small business blog, like yesterday, they announced that Google is holding a live event on June the 23rd at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, up until Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, where myself and 10 other mobile experts are going to be on a live chat, where small businesses can ask questions about mobile friendly websites. The reason they're and I don't know if they're going to be using Hangouts or not, but the they've recently issued a brand new tool. Now we know about the mobile friendly test tool and the page speed insights tool. So what they've done is they've combined both of those tools. So now they have a brand new tool where a business can go and rate their website for mobile readiness, speed, and desktop speed. And so said that mobile is here. You know, are you ready to join the revolution? Because that's one of their main initiatives this year is making sure that all businesses are mobile friendly for mobile devices. So about it, they announced this yesterday. My manager for the Google Small Business community, she publicly broadcasted it on all the social media channels, and I just feel really lucky to be a part of such an initiative.
It is really so cool, Molly, because I'm looking at the post, and I planted the post link in the chat stream so people can go and see that. And the event is called Meet the Mobile Pros, and you are right on top on the far left. You're the first face in the document. They show 11. They show 11 people. You're the first one. Now, if that's not a place of grandeur, I don't know what it is.
I'm always talking about mobile, about being mobile friendly, mobile search engine optimization, accelerated mobile pages, which is more of a developer type thing. Basically,
Right.
what that is it's coding that goes on a website that actually increases the speed of the website. So,
Ah,
yeah, it's a developer thing. So, but simple. It's just straight HTML, and I know a lot of business owners go, "Oh no, coding, I can't do it. It's too much." But I know I was like that at one point. I was terrified to actually get in there and start coding. I think it's something that a business should explore because it's like a let me explain coding like this. It's like a language. It's like learning a different language, and once you learn a language, you get comfortable with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really glad that 2 decades ago I started out with HTML. So I did everything in HTML, and so I have a good understanding of the basics. I didn't really climb into the HTML5 world, but the HTML basics allows me to confront a lot of the issues in WordPress that I would not be able to handle if I didn't know HTML, because it's a foreign thing beyond, you're limited to what WordPress has to offer you unless you know HTML. And then if you do know HTML, that sets you free to deal with the style sheets and the basic fundamental layout plans and all the uh, focus on how the website theme is developed, so you have a chance of fixing the little things that make a difference for the website final. And so programming definitely helps, although I love WordPress. Now, before we go on, I want to say we have a few people viewing apparently, and the one that I recognize and said hi here is Heidi Hornland. Says hi and happy holidays. Um, what holiday is it? We just got through with Memorial Day, and I guess Father's Day is around the corner. Yay, that's cool. Okay, anyway, hi Heidi. She goes by Adelaide Hornland, and we call her Heidi. And she is one of the people who are one of the hangouters, or the hang-ons, the Klingons, the one of the people still doing Hangouts. And I would be curious to know, Heidi, are you considering any other platforms as an alternative to Hangouts? Now, one of the questions that we have today that I want to cover briefly is what is happening to Hangouts? And we've got the Google lady here, and maybe she's got some insights, so I'm going to turn it over to you in a moment. But here's my take on Hangouts. Now, Hangouts is still a free platform offered by Google that has had no changes, no significant changes in like 3 years. Correct me if I'm wrong. And but the thing is, they haven't done a thing to it. But back in the day when they put it out there, it was significantly the best platform available, especially as a freebie. Now they did a recent change. They did during this last 6 months, and came out with the new beta version of the Hangouts, which I think is another failure, but that's my opinion. And they geared it towards being more mobile. Yeah, they
I was
geared
just
it
going to say
towards
it's
being more
interesting
mobile.
you mentioned that.
Go ahead, Molly.
I was just going to say it's interesting that you mentioned that because Rising Star in the Hangouts help forum. So I have my community manager at the Google headquarters. They're out there in Mountain View, constantly asking questions about about Hangouts on air, Hangout issues, connection issues. One of the things that some of the other Hangout Rising Stars and top contributors have been talking about are updates to Hangouts and actually having access to the engineers who program these updates. So I totally agree with you that Hangouts is a great product, but at the same time, it definitely needs some more development, needs some improvements.
Right. And as we're going here, we're welcoming Michael Thomas, who has been watching for a year or more. And I welcome you and thank you very much for showing up, Michael. I always appreciate your point of view and your willingness to express in my Hangout series. And so we value your feedback. And the question that we're talking about right now is the future of Hangouts and what could be the future. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are maybe 3 of us who are still weekly broadcasters. And there may be three more. I say three more because I'm just looking at the last couple months. Maybe there are a dozen part-timers who do occasional hangouts, but nothing in a strict series. Um, Zara went from weekly to monthly, but she's still consistently out there. She's always got a show planned, and she comes across with a similar format and presentation that she's always had. And I would like to know what you were thinking about the future of Hangouts. So Zara Altair, who was actually the very first person to help me developing my Hangout abilities and helping me out with some technological issues that I had learning Hangouts. And then Molly came along, and we had two people helping me in various things. But Sarah is one of the earliest. And then there is also Virginia Parsons, who was the Hangout helper, and I think that's what she calls herself. And that, although that's taking a second seat in her promotions, she is still the Hangout helper. And yeah, she's doing things consistently. She's probably broadcasting more effectively than most and has a very well polished scheme. I would like to know what Virginia Parsons, what you think and what you are going to do if Hangouts um, fizzles. Now, the other thing is Virginia's got a wider reach than most of us. And I would like to ask her then an additional question on how she made her outreach bigger. And I don't think that you did it just in Hangouts, but if you did use just Google Plus, I would like to know the strategy that you used that allowed you to succeed where others have quit or failed. So I don't think that what I'm doing is a failure, but I am questioning whether or not the outreach is enough. So the next issue regarding this goes to the idea of building the outreach. Now, Molly, did you have anything to add to my banter about Hangouts and what's going on?
Sure. Zara actually is one of my Hangout mentors as well. The whole reason I'm even using Hangouts is when I initially became an ambassador in the Google Partners Program, I had to sign an agreement saying, "Hey, every quarter you're going to host a Hangout." And I'm like, "What's a Hangout?" I had no idea what they even were. Google sent me this video kit, came with camera and lights and everything, and I'm looking at it like I really got to figure out what's going on here. Just for myself, I started practicing just with myself, trying to get used to the way I looked and the way I sounded on camera. In terms of Hangouts and improvements, I really would like to do is I'd like to get some feedback. Virginia, Melanie, Zara, there's a lot more Hangout hosts out there. On what improvements you would like to see. I know for myself, recently within the top contributor Rising Star, we have a thread going, and several of the TCs and RSs had made suggestions on improvements. One of the improvements I had suggested was connecting more Google products to Hangouts in terms of having some type of menu bar where, say, instead of having to go out of a Hangout to go to Gmail, this bar would have a Gmail icon where you literally would be able to go email somebody from within a Hangout. Alternatively, there's other ideas that I have, like including on this menu bar Google Analytics, maybe AdWords. There's thousands of people that run AdWords campaigns, and this is such an excellent way to communicate with clients. So those are just some ideas that I have, that if there was this menu bar where we could associate other Google products, like maybe Google My Business, Google Plus, instead of having to have the individual go outside of the Hangout to access those products, having it all to where it becomes accessible.
Sounds good. I appreciate that. And Heidi is making a couple of comments out there, and I wanted to highlight and show that By the way, lower thirds worked perfectly today, and comment tracker apparently is working perfect today. And I think it's because of a fix-it that I will explain in just a moment. But Heidi says, well, Roland, I am a bit preoccupied regarding the future of Hangouts. Our crew seems to be a bit scattered a bit, quite a bit, or whatever there. The crews are changing, but the main thing is to have the people focused on what your end goal is. So when we focus on the end goal, we have to figure out, well, if we don't use Hangouts, what are we going to change to? And what is our alternative? And of course, the alternative was brought up by Heidi again when she said Blab, and the fact that Blab is taking away some of her following and her audience, and that's understandable, and I can understand how that's been affected. It's definitely affected me too. But Blab is not a good answer. It's an answer, and a lot of people are going there. I think if it's trendy, they're going there, and they're making the best of a platform that is lesser in ability and lesser in features, but saying, well, we'll just use this and do the same thing that we've always done. So if people adapt, there will be things that they cannot do, but if they take advantage of what they can do, if the people are there, and if the people will watch, which they are bound to do because Blab is so strongly supported by Twitter, the Twitter connection, then I think that there's a good foundation and a good argument for going to Blab. But I'm not ready to go yet because I like the features of the webinar support, the presentation support, the engagement and involved support, the number of people that we can add, and so forth, that Hangouts offers right from the get-go that these other platforms do not give us a chance to use. Molly, you had a comment?
Yeah, in terms of Hangouts versus the other video service providers out there, I think what kind of gives Hangouts an edge over them is the fact that it does get recorded to YouTube. Opportunity for a business owner not only to do the Hangout, but to actually take that same Hangout and share it, to actually market, hey, this is a Hangout about, well, today it's about Hangouts. Or if you're doing or selling a certain product or service, you could actually take that video and optimize it for search to where the video itself could be indexed as a search result. So a potential customer who's searching for your product or service, if you name keywords, there is the possibility that that Hangout will get indexed. Platform like Blab, where that's not even a possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are several other interactive features. And Blab may be able to claim the hashtag connection just because it's with Twitter. But one of the things that Google products, Google Search, Google Plus, Google Hangouts has to support it is the concept of the hashtag. Now that's a Twitter baby. But the thing is, being available in Google Plus as an attribute makes it completely accessible. If you tweet something about a Google Plus comment and you have a hashtag in there, you can connect with it pretty readily through Twitter. So, pardon me, Molly, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I was just mentioning that the creator of the hashtag, his name is Chris Messina, and he actually, when he created that, worked at Google. The whole intent behind the hashtag was to make it easy to organize information, meaning if you apply a hashtag to a post or tweet or really anywhere online, if you go and search for that hashtag, you're going to find all of those social interactions under that hashtag. And that was the initial intent for organization. And personally, I think that was brilliant because that's one thing about social media is, you got Twitter over here, Facebook over there, Google Plus over here, Pinterest over there. You've got all these different in terms of social media, but by using that hashtag, you can take all of those platforms and organize posts and information that's being posted to them.
Yes. And so we had hashtags hard about a year ago. And that brings another aspect of what I want to cover before we close today. And we're already way over the time that I thought we were going to have. We have way over the people too that I thought we were going to have. Anthony Sadler is in the audience listening, or he's hoping to catch part of this show. And Anthony created a community in Facebook several years ago. And I joined him when he had just a couple hundred and was with him as he built up to about 400 people. So, hi, Anthony. I just wanted to say hi and thank you for coming. But anyway, Anthony had the Power of Positive Thinking. Power of Positive Thinking group that had like a few hundred people and kind of got stuck at 450 or so. And for the life of me, I couldn't think of it. Why doesn't this community keep on growing? And then all of a sudden it took off. Now, that was about a year, almost 2 years ago. And now we were pushing 1,600 or something like that. It's a growing community, and we picture it in the next few years challenging the 100,000 mark. Now, I don't even know if that's possible with the Facebook community, but there are a lot of people joining. There are people joining every single day, and it's a growing thing. So I know that the power of positive thinking is definitely something that will attract people. They want to feel good, want to be happy. So congratulations, Anthony, and more power to our community. And thank you for attending today. So, Anthony, if you want to post the URL for the community in Facebook, please do. You're welcome to do that, and we'll be talking to some of you there. But anyway, as we're going along here, there are several things that came up. I believe that hashtags are going to be some of the glue that manifests a connection with an outreach in Google Plus and also in Twitter. So I'm thinking of one of the things that I would like to find is a Twitter bug who's not doing anything, who may want to team up on a Twitter project to accent the Smarties show. So if you like the Smarties, you like the people in it, you like me, and you would like to participate in something that may have a boost in the audience reach for the Smarties show, I'm looking for a Twitter bug. And I'm only going to be using one. At this point, I don't have a business model or a place for a Twitter team, but I would like to work with one person who wants to spend a focused amount of time. And I don't know how much time that is, but I do know that tweeting can be accomplished in a few minutes a day. So if we have anybody in the audience who likes to tweet and who wants to take on a little side project, or at least talk about it, because I'm a Twitter baby, and talk about what we can do to boost the following of Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties, or Marketing Smarties in the community. And by the way, our community has got 70 plus people in it and is growing gradually. And hopefully it'll get to some bigger depths. And we can have our conversations in our own environment in the community of Marketing Smarties. So that's what we plan on in the future. But regarding this Twitter thing, I think that, as I said, I think that hashtags and tweeting could be the glue that draws more of the outreach to more people to the Smarties show. Now, there's a second thing that I want to do, and that is I'm researching podcasting right now. And I love the idea of podcasting, but it is one step outside my wheelhouse, and that is to have a live broadcast with video. However, I think that we could turn a lot of what we have content-wise in the Smarties shows, I think is worthy of potentially creating and repurposing that information to have a podcast. Now, as casual as it is, and as stumbling over the English language as I can be sometimes, I still think it's a viable opportunity for podcasting. And although we're not going to be maybe as professional as some radio podcasters and some guys that invest thousands and more in equipment and editing gear and have a team, I think a podcast would be very plausible. So I'm thinking of adding the podcast to the home base front of a video outreach and staying in Hangouts. So Hangouts would then have a Twitter outreach to help market and promote it, and a podcast to recycle a lot of the same information. Because a podcast is not usually a live thing, because an actual live broadcast is hard to perfect. And so many people say, oh no, I said, and I stumbled over something I was saying, or I coughed, or I sneezed, or whatever. You can imagine any number of different issues with the sound. I dropped my cup. I had some static. My sound dropped out. The video froze. What am I going to do? Well, in a podcast, you can edit all that out. But when it's edited out and you listen to a podcast and it comes out so clean, you wonder, wow, that was great. That was a great 30 minutes. That was because it was probably an hour show, trimmed and edited and excerpt corrected until it was 30 minutes. And also, podcasts are well known for having segments where you get halfway through and then you feature a sponsor, and then you break for a moment. And the people doing podcasts are not taking a sip and a cigarette. They're not doing that. They're basically just editing it out so they can plan a commercial. And then when they have a show that's worth something, they get people who will actually pay for those spots in the middle. Now, at this moment, I'm not even thinking of the advertising for someone else. And although that is a possibility, the thought is my last concern. So I would rather have the podcast be the podcast and not worry about advertising. But advertising could always be injected into any podcast because, as I said before, they're not expected to be live. Podcasts, the way they are today, are something that people want to download when they want to download it, not to catch it at 3 p.m. in the afternoon because that's when the show is. But if they get off work at 5 or 5:30 when they're driving home, that's when they're going to tune into the recorded broadcast, and that's when the podcast becomes very efficient for information transfer from the productive team, because nobody's got to be there. There doesn't have to be video. People are listening to it on the way home in the car. This is the type of thing that makes podcasts more viable than Hangouts. So that's why we're thinking of adding podcasts to the market here. What do you think of that, Molly?
Yeah, just with Hangouts, we have Hangouts on air. That's a live presentation. That's what we're doing this afternoon. But you can actually do podcasts with Hangouts. You can film videos, upload them where people, as you mentioned, maybe they're on the go, they're working, they have kids to take care of, they can't stop their lives to watch presentation. But at the same time, if we use Hangouts to record an event, then edit, you're still going to get that same that you would with a Hangout on air, because you're able to talk about whatever product or service and you're able to kind of work yourself into another person's schedule versus having. Now, I personally am a big fan of Hangouts on air because I think there's user engagement that happens. But as you mentioned, we have an event, and so we have something called Replay City, where if you're not able to watch a live event, you can go watch it in Replay City. I think what you're referring to is we're really looking at a online reputation, meaning it's not just being on social, it's not just about using Hangouts, it's not just about a combination of using all the different tools that are available out there for small business. So personally, I have built my business using social media, and earlier you've referred to active on Twitter. And something I discovered earlier on when I started posting on social media, I was spending a lot of time for from Twitter to Facebook to Google Plus to LinkedIn to Pinterest. I'm spending all this time on social media. I'm not getting any production done. And I searched one day to see if there was any type of social automation tool. In fact, I did a post in the Google community about social automation. I found an app out there that allows you to link up to 12 social media accounts. It's really expensive. I think it's like $10 a month. But in terms of the return on the investment, the clients and the leads that I've generated by posting, I post on average 5 to 6 times a day, usually content related to my business, really generated an audience for me to where people expect to see posts from me. And I think when a business can do that, when they can build their online reputation to where they have an audience of people in terms of the product and services that they offer, your audience, your network needs that product or service, they're going to remember, Molly, she posts about this all the time. I'm going to refer this person to her because I know this is what she does for a living.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. And thank you for that, Molly. I'm watching the comments in the stream, and Anthony Sadler has posted the link to his Power of Positive Thinking community. So if you see that link under Anthony Sadler's name, I encourage you to click on the link, go there, and join up. It's free, it's cool, and people post a lot of positive stuff, a lot of positive energy, so I love it. So Michael Thomas, thank you very much for your feedback regarding YouTube Live. He says it's a great platform, and he thinks experimenting with a live podcasting would be a good idea. And so he also puts a couple of links there to see some samples of that, and a platform apparently that allows you to do the podcast. So I'm going to research that. I thank you very much for the links, and see how that goes, because this was something that I've been researching for the past couple months. So I don't know that we have that much more to add to this. What is the future of Hangouts? I'm not sure, but I've been placing the bets that Hangouts will be something. And what reinforces that for me is that Google went through and made some corrections to Google Chrome and an update. And if people are trying Hangouts and they can't get their lower thirds to work, and can't get the comment tracker to work, well, all you have to do is go to the Google settings and update your about the Google Chrome app. And when you go to the settings and the about section, it's going to automatically update to the latest version of Chrome, and your problems are probably going to be solved. So if you have your computer updated in other aspects, and then you have the latest version of Chrome, it's probably going to work fine. Now, why would Google go to the problem and go to the extent of fixing a problem with Chrome as it relates to Hangouts? I believe because there's something to the concept of keeping Hangouts around. Now, it's an asset that has a lot of value and almost zero use. When you consider the overall internet, Google Hangouts are hardly used at all. And there's just a few small handful of us that find value in the platform. Now, the other thing is Google Plus as a social community has been it's been dogged on and downplayed for years. People have been telling me Google Plus is dead and nobody uses it. Well, now that's not totally true, because some of the influencers listed in Alex and Mike's or Alex and Steve's presentation, they tell people these are the influencers, and a very, very small percentage of them are huge Google Plus users. Huge. They had like double the number of people in Google Plus that they had in Facebook. Now, why is that? Because their strategy to use Google Plus is different from the people playing around in Facebook. And it's a different platform if you understand it there is more power in Google Plus than Facebook. And you want to add something, Molly?
I just wanted to quickly interject. You were talking about Hangouts and Hangout host providers, and this was about 2 or 3 months ago. I participated on a Google research study. I actually was interviewed by a Googler about Hangouts. My community manager, Chris, kind of put it out there for all the RSs and TCs. That, hey, we'd like some feedback about. I know I've been watching you, Zara. Gosh, there's so many of them out there. And I compiled a list. I actually went out on Google Plus and I said, hey, I'm compiling this list of Hangout hosts because I wanted to get a good list of Hangout providers that show, whether it be monthly, weekly. And so I compiled this list, and I was actually into this Googler. He was amazed. He's like, really, these people are out every week or every month. They've got a regular series that they're using to advertise their business. And so I think when we can use Hangouts as a business to promote, just like, for example, you're necessarily promoting service or answering questions about related to the service that you offer. And I think when you offer that type of strategy where you're out there helping people, in fact, there's something, and this is just for everybody's information, is called Help on Social. A platform geared specifically towards Twitter. Twitter and Google actually do have an alignment with each other. Now, they are still independently owned, so they're not one company, but they do have a business alignment. And this new platform, Help on Social, and part of the Google Top Contributor Rising Star program is about people who are knowledgeable about certain products going out and helping other people. That's the whole reason why Google designates that title to persons, because they see that they're out there generally trying to help other users with a certain product, like Hangouts. Business takes the same strategy, and it doesn't necessarily have to be technical. It could be about whatever product or service you offer, but get out there and help people understand, do tutorials or demos or answer questions, or maybe people, like we're doing right now, what are the problems with Hangouts? Well, there's a lot of problems, but I think there's room for a lot of improvement. So I would love to see or survey and get some feedback from users like you, Roland, other Hangout hosts out there, to actually compile a list. Well, what would you want to see? I think that would be really great.
If you put together the survey, I definitely would respond to that. Had Michael Thomas was saying something. They can't spam us out here on the Plus, and I love that about Google Plus, by the way. So, Michael, I agree. And one of the things about using this platform is that we've had the best engagement with people and had the best opportunity to include them in the Hangout and their comments in the Hangouts. And those things I really think bring the value to Google Plus that they had the insight to build into this several years, half a dozen years ago. Whereas these new platforms seem to think that imitating this concept and streamlining it so that we just have a certain little catch or some little tweak of something, and build their foundation about the aspects of interaction that they specialize in. That's all good and well, but when you're a business owner trying to get the word out, it still comes back to this is what they're looking for. Google Hangouts depicts the epitome of what we should be using to support our businesses online. And that's the bottom line. And that's why I'm here. So I've basically put some bets in on the Google Hangouts, and I will hang out until it pretty much dies. And I am seriously not ready to give up yet, even though worldwide there's only a half a dozen of us or so who are actually actively participating with Hangouts. And there are some other good things. I recently learned that Amazon has come out with a Hangout concept or a webinar concept that is reasonably priced, pretty good, pretty effective, and pretty complete. So I'm going to be researching that too, but I'm not ready to spend $400. So anyway, I think that what we found from Google Plus and Google Hangouts is that there may be a plan for Google Plus and Google Hangouts after all, and I'm willing to stay around and see what happens. But I'm also thinking we need to enhance our outreach so more people know we're here. So the final question for today is that, well, I would back up. By golly, this is turning into an hour show anyway on a Saturday morning. But anyway, one of the things is I was looking at the Saturday morning marketing Smarties shows from a year and a half ago. And some of the things that we covered back then, some of the things that I started talking about in my first couple weeks producing shows like this are still valid today. You know, when they say this is the new trend, this is the cutting edge, everybody's going to be doing this. And then nobody does it for the first 6 months. And then a few people do it for the next year. And basically that's where we are now. So the things that we've been talking about since December 2014 are finally happening now in the more of the masses. The people are saying, oh yeah, this is the cutting edge trend. This is what's going on. And I realized that we were talking about it a year ago or more. And so I thought I'm going to repurpose some of what we did a year and a half ago or a year ago and redo the concepts and the topics that we had back then. Now, WeWake was suggesting, well, why instead of repurposing the old stuff, why don't you just have a new hangout on the subject again? Well, we're going to do that too. But what is interesting to me is the things that we predicted and talked about a year or more ago are trending viciously right now. And they talk about at the beginning of this year, somebody came out and said, yeah, video is the new catchphrase and video is the new concept and that's going to be the thing. Well, how long have we been doing videos now, and how long have Hangouts been around? How long has YouTube been the subject of conversation? Well, you know, when people finally get the gist of it and they get on the bandwagon, they're going to realize they're too late or they're behind and have a lot of catching up to do. So the people talking about the concepts that are trending now, and we were talking about it a year and a half or even 2 years ago, this is what I'm talking about. And this is the consciousness that we build this show around, that we want to talk about whatever the cutting edge thing is and what we think is going to make a difference for small and medium and large businesses alike, and what is of value that people can use right now. So that's what it's all about. And I want to hear from the people out there what you think that you want to hear about, talked about in the Smarties shows, and what subjects we should be considering to add to the repertoire of what we talk about. So with that in mind, Molly, did you have anything to add or to wrap up regarding this conversation? She's on mobile, so she may not be.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I have yeah, in terms of some of the content that we talked about in earlier shows, that it has evolved, it's changed, it's improved. So I definitely would be open to painting other hangouts about this subject. And I think in terms of just a business strategy in general, earlier, it's about making use of all the different tools that are available in terms of video marketing, what I refer to as mobile marketing. I'm telling you right now, I'm getting some really valuable information from Google about what they're doing in terms of mobile. I actually had a hangout with a mobile product specialist. Articles for Think with Google. If you get a chance, check out that website. It's got some great insights about digital marketing. When a business thinks about marketing themselves online, they have to think like a digital marketer. And that is a big job. That is a difficult job. With digital marketing is it changes all the time. It literally changes every day. Not keeping up with the latest trends in terms of Hangouts, AdWords, search engine optimization, mobile marketing, content marketing, engagement marketing. There's so many different variables that changes every day that it's almost its own job. Out there like me, who that's all we do. We do digital marketing for businesses because it's just too much. It's not something that a business owner can't do. They absolutely can stay in touch with, like I said, think with Google. Great website. Updating the latest information about digital marketing. In terms of that, remember, the main focus as a business owner is we have to tell people who we are and what we do. In fact, summit was a couple of weeks ago, and the VP of product marketing who was speaking, he literally said those words. As business owners, we have to tell people who we are and what we do because nobody's going to do it for us. And that's where we dive into the digital realm. And I might add the mobile realm because mobile is not only not going away, it's gaining momentum. People are using their mobile device. In fact, as I learned just this week, the average mobile user 150 times. That has changed just from published statistic that it was 70 times per day. So not only are users utilizing their mobile device more and more, it is actually affecting in terms of page speed. That's again why they came out with this new tool. If you get a chance, check it out. I'll post a link in the event. You have to stay a step ahead of them. We have tools like this, like the Page Speed Insights and Mobile Friendly Test tool that they just issued. We succeeded to invite everybody who's watching either or Replay City that June 23rd, Google is hosting a live Q&A. I'm going to be one of the advisors talking on Twitter about mobile. One of my favorite subjects to talk about is AMP. Mobile pages. I love it. It really does help. I'll post those event details in the event page.
Sounds good. And I'm really sorry during your conversation there was a lot of static and hang up because the bandwidth may be having a problem. But what Molly was basically talking about was the evolution of marketing in general as affected by the mobile industry and the trends of people to use their mobile phones to educate themselves and so forth. So that brings us back to the concept of why this show started in the first place. What we're seeing a lot of nowadays is a trend to the inbound marketing concept. Well, we've been talking about it the entire length since the birth of this show. Inbound marketing, engagement marketing, and education-based marketing. We're still on the track with those very same things. And the reason for the education-based marketing is exactly what Molly was saying. You got to tell people who you are and what you do. And education-based marketing is like this show. We talk about the industry so people understand the industry. We talk about specifics regarding the pieces in the industry because it's what we do. And that's why the show. But in doing forward, beyond that, people would look at us from the outside and say, what's your problem? Why isn't there a catch? Why aren't you converting? Why don't you have a link to your sales points? Because that's just not part of my damn theory. I am not going to pitch to my people. And by the way, I'm getting more business by not pitching than I am by pitching. And you might say, no way, that's not true, because if I were marketing for you, Roland, I'd have you buried in websites and doing this and doing that. But part of the difference is I would not have people who understood exactly what I do. They just think that I would be building them a website. And then beyond that, it'd be like, now that I've got the website, where's my traffic? Where's this? Where's that? Well, you didn't buy traffic from me. You just bought a website. and I sold it to you, and I'm not looking back. So take your website and go. So that's what happens on the marketing market when people sell them a marketing product. It's easy to sell the product, but it's hard to get results from the product because to get results, you have to have a marketing machine, not a marketing website. So there's a lot behind this and a lot about the theory, but part of the theory for us is that education-based marketing tells people who you are and explains the industry and educates people as to what you do and then gives you the opportunity to prove that you are the authority. That's the whole concept behind these video uh, trending and showing people the tell, show, do, review concept is done best in video. So that's a lot of stuff that we crammed into the hour. I thought it was going to be 15 minutes and I was just going to make a brief statement, but we had people show up and I really appreciate you for showing up. Gary Whalen came by out there and Heidi, Michael Thomas, and we wake up. I wonder if you're still around. But anyway, thank you very much for showing up. Thank you for giving us your feedback. And if anybody watches this in the replays, tell us what you want to see in Hangouts in the future. And by all means, Molly and me and maybe Karen and maybe some other people, we will be hanging out. So that's going to be me wrapping it up for the hour. Did you want to add any little touches at the very end of this show, Molly?
Yeah, just that, as a small business, it's about building momentum. You have to start somewhere. And for me, I had very little resources when I first started. I really have any marketing budget at all. With my website, I started marketing my website. I started answering questions. I started helping people. And now I'm going to be on a live Q&A on Twitter that Google's hosting about answering questions. And I think that right there is testimony that and try to help people and educate them, whatever product or service you offer, that it will help your business succeed online.
Cool. Just get started. Just get a foothold and just get started. And really, that's one of the things that this show, Marketing Smarties, is known for, showing people how to get started, where to start. And this is a great place because you get the education before you make your first step. And by the way, we're saying hi to Lon McClure, who just stopped by, and one of our constituents who has been watching for a while. And thank you very much. Sorry you missed the show, but the replay, as usual, is available. So thanks, Lon, and thank you, people. And
I just posted the link for the live Q&A about mobile.
Okay, great. So check out the link that Molly just dropped in there, and follow her as she's tweeting away at that little group event. And we'll be following that, and we'll also get back to everybody as far as probably Smarties is going to return. You may not see us weekly until then on June 25th as we take an early break for the summer. So much going on. My daughter's moving to Maryland, all kinds of stuff. So all is good and well, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much for being part of the audience today. Thanks all of you people for contributing. I appreciate your feedback. This is Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties signing off. See you soon.